Okay, so the January 2020 code challenges. We have a series of levels here. We'll talk through the first level. So the first level is create a JSON form configuration file. Okay, so this is a JavaScript object notation file, and it is to represent a form and its fields. The form must include the first name. This must be a text box. It must be required. The last name, again, it's a text box, but this time it's optional. A section in here, a select box even. A select box, where did you hear about select box? It must be required, and the options are YouTube, Twitch, Discord, or other. Okay, bonus points. Add configuration for additional form fields. Add configuration for data validation. Now, I didn't go into any detail as to the validation of these, but, you know, based on, you know, they have to be required, but you might have added some more validation, you know, up to you, really. Add configuration for validation messages. Add configuration for form actions and method. I'm going to just push this into the challenges, the chat. I haven't even had any cake yet. Any E-numbers? Level 2, convert this into a HTML form. So use JavaScript or PHP to convert the JSON configuration into a usable form. Okay, so this is where you're looping through this JSON form config, pulling out all the various bits and pieces, and then constructing a HTML form off of the back of it. The idea being, of course, you can change one of these things. Hello, Sniper Side. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. The idea is that you would create a JSON file, and you would alter the JSON file, and it would alter the HTML form for you. Handle the form submission via PHP. This is level 3 here. When the form is submitted, read the values into PHP. So this is going through the post request values and reading them, you know, basically setting those to variables. And then from here, create an XML file per form submission. So also in level 3, I should say that this is where the validation needs to happen. I probably should have explicitly put that there. But if the validation is correct, so if all these things are valid and blah, 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 then what we wanted to do is create an XML file per form submission. This means that for every time the form gets submitted, an XML file is created. And the XML file will have a timestamp as the file name. Create an XML file per form submission which stores the values. Now, I didn't go into any detail as to the structure of the XML form. Essentially, it's going to mimic the JSON structure, I guess. And then here, bonus points, design code config so that form fields can be configured differently without altering the PHP code. This is the gotcha. So, now, you know, with all of these things, you don't have to do all the levels. There's no, you know, I'm not going to not review these if you don't complete all the levels. And I appreciate this is quite big. This is fairly big here. So I'm going to grab some tea and then we're going to get into it. Tea and cake. It's all good stuff. So, okay, so we have a submission. Excuse me. From Tyranad, and this is the January Challenge 2020, and it's PHP looking at the stuff, which is all good. We have the JSON file here. Let's take a little look. Let's bring this up to here. So, okay, we have the method, which is post. We have an action, which is a blank string. So that would be, I would assume, I haven't done this yet. I haven't run this yet. This is the first time of actually going through this JSON file. This would be posting this back to itself, one would assume. The fields here, this is really good. I like this. So this is an array of fields. So each one of these is an object, and we have the type, which is text, required, which is true, nice, like it. So that's the first name, right? F name, yep, first name, sweet. So then down here we have another one, which is text, which is good. Last name, L name. We also have classes. That's nice. And an ID. Cool. We don't have required true on here because I did say it was optional. So I'm assuming that because there isn't a required item here, then that means that it is optional, which is good. Okay, down here we have a select box, it looks like. So where did you hear about? my English. Okay, so we have the name here. That's the form. That's the field name, I presume, and then the ID, and then these are the options. Nice, I like it. Good, good, good. We also have some more. This is cool. So we have a text area. This is a text area. We have a radio. Where did you hear about? Oh, nice. I like it. I like it. I like it. And a checkbox. Very good. Very, very good. And a submit button as well. And submit text. Nice. I like it. Don't worry about the validation. It's all good. I mean, to be honest, having it required is required, but it's all good. Hey, Biggie Boss. Thank you for joining. We're doing a code review. This looks good. I like it. Okay, let's have a little wander into the land of the code. So we have the README here. So create the JSON file config. That's level 1. Awesome. Then we have level 2. Convert this into a HTML form. So form manager get HTML. So that's cool. So that's echoing out that to excuse me, I've just spat all over my microphone. That's not good. So yes, this would get the HTML of the form based on the config. Nice. Level 3, handle the form submission. That's cool. I'll check that out in a mo. Create level 4, create an XML file per form submission. Function used, form manager, intercept, submit. Nice. Improvements, add validation for JSON configuration, add form validation, cool. Add custom validation messages. Pre-populate form in case of errors, additional checks for form submit. Nice, I like this. This shows that there is a good level of thought as to what could happen sort of in the next phase, which is good. We will see, Tyrannid. We will see. Let's go to the index. So what we've got here is, whoops, sorry, my magic mouse was going a bit crazy. Cool. So it's a HTML form. That's all a HTML page. That's good. So no crazy JavaScript stuff. It's all good. We're getting some bits and pieces from a CDN, which is Bootstrap, I believe. All good, all good, all good. And then down here we have some Bootstrap and Popper. What's Popper? I've never seen Popper before. Nice. And some more jQuery too as well. Awesome. Let's see if we can fire this up. So let's go back to here. I'm going to grab also, what I've noticed is there's a license in here as well. That's good. I like that. Whoops. I like that. All good things. So let's clone. And let's go into the code. Ah, okay. Okay, cool. Popper is a required library for Bootstrap 4. Nice. Okay, so I'm in my code challenges directory. I'm going to create a new one because this is 2020. Now, we're going to go into 2020. Whoops. And I need to follow the convention of the others. So it was, which I can't remember. So let's do an ls-al. Bear with me just a second whilst I try and 2019. How did I do it? It was the number of the month and then the month itself. Fine. Okay, so we're going to do a mqdir and we're going to do 01 for the month number, and then it's January. Cool. Let's go into there, and then let's do an ls. Let's clear that down, and let's finally do a git clone. Git clone. Do an ls. Go into January. Okay, I have your files. Okay, so there's a vendor directory. There is no composer doobry thingy. So let's check out vendor. Let's do cd into vendor. Groovy. Okay, so this is where the form manager lives and the fields. Okay, I'll check that out in just a second. I'm going to spin up PHP Storm and make it behave and actually point it to the right place. Bear with me a second whilst I do all of this. I'm looking for this directory, and it is in challenges 2020. This one here, January 20 challenge 2020. Open that one up. New window. Thank you. Cool. Okay. All good. No crazy warnings, no crazy errors. The JSON looks perfectly fine. There's no, like, I'm looking on the right hand side here for flags that will tell me if there's any kind of errors or warnings. There's a few here, but nothing mental, I don't think. No, this is all right. This is just telling me about the these things. That's fine. Let's take a look at the form manager. This is where everything lives. Okay. Is this because I'm running a different version of... Yes, I am. Switch to a language level. Bear with me a minute. I haven't set this up. I think this is running off of an old version of PHP because I was playing around with some dirty PHP 5 code the other day. PHP... I'm looking for... languages. There we go, 5.6. No, thank you. Let's go straight to 7.4. Good. Okay, yep, that's all good. That's all good. Everything's come back now and is it good? Good. Fields. Yep, quick look on those things. Nothing coming up on the here. Redundant closing tag. Okay. Only a small thing. Groovy. Okay. Have you noticed I'm bleeding this out? Okay, so let's do a ls here. Let's see if we can get it running off of PHP, running in a local server. So I'm just going to do php-v just to check. It's running PHP 7.3, which probably will have a bit of an issue. So I'll just try it, but it'll probably have a little bit of a moan. Localhost 8081. We're going to run it against the current working directory, I think. Okay. Here we go. Grab that. Why does this not have a link? I mean, come on. Okay, so file put contents, submissions, failed to open stream, no such file or directory in vendor online 131. It does look very nice though. I can see all of these have been populated correctly. We've got the last name and the first name here, and we've got our select box here, our text box, and even some checkboxes. So that all works really well. There was an error whilst processing your request. No such file or directory in blah 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 131. Now I'm not sure whether this is because... Let me just have a look at the code. So form manager on 131. 131. Here we go. Okay, so this doesn't look like it's like a PHP specific version thing. That's what I was checking. So file put contents, time XML. So intercept submit. Why are we in intercept submit? Let's do a submit. Let's just fill it out. Peter Fisher. Where do you hear about Peter Fisher? Other. Hello world. Where did you hear about? YouTube, Twitch. And there's a password field here. Oh, that's nice. Actually changes to a password. So I'm going to put in test123. Send. Boom. So, hang on, whilst I have my drink. Did that file get saved? That looks like it's gone to submissions, sub. Does this mean that I need to have, if I do git ignore, an actual directory called submissions? I think that might be the case. I think. Let me just see. Sometimes it's in the git ignore file. No. Ba, 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 ba. Okay. So, okay, the validation's up and running. Nice. But submissions, I think what I'm going to do is create myself a directory called submissions. I think that's what I'm missing here. Bear with me just a second whilst I because I want to get the spelling right. My spelling's terrible. Do. There we go. Create submissions. And let's just keep it as is. I might have to play with the actual permissions of submissions. Permissions of submissions. Okay, let's refresh. Continue. Form is submitted. Okay, let's just create something else. Twitch, test, YouTube, test, send. Okay, form is submitted and there is submissions. So it is working. It is working. Okay, let's have a look at these XML files. Nice. So we have the F name.
Hello, coders.
Hey, hello. Hello, Jen Reggie. I hope that's a right pronunciation of your username. I am doing a code review at the moment for the January coding challenges. We're reviewing Tyrannid's January challenge, and it's looking really, really good so far. We've actually been able to get an XML file out of this, which is really good. That's nice. I like it. I like that a lot. Yeah. Okay. So let's see if we can hack it about, shall we? So let's say, for instance, let's say, for instance, I want to have the first name as something that isn't required. So let's say I want to have that as false. Okay, so if I was to come here and then let's just load that up again and then hit send. Excellent. That's really, really good. So beforehand, what was happening if I did false, if I did true like this, and then, refresh the page and then press send, it would say, please fill out this field. Can you see that? So send, please fill in this field. However, if I was to set this to be false and then hit save and then press, I'll have to refresh it to load it back up again. Hit send, we don't. We get this one down here, please fill in this field, which, you know, the password is also required. So that's false and the select box is true. However, there is a default option there, which is fine. That's cool. And it also shows the selected one as well. We'll play around with that in just a second. But down here, I'm assuming there's a password which is required, which is true. Awesome. Okay, let's see if I can play around with the select box here. So I've just seen that the select box has a selected on one of the particular options. So we're just going to grab that. We're going to remove that from Twitch and we're going to put it onto YouTube. Whoops. And hit save. Then we're going to go over to here and notice that this is set by default. If I was to refresh here, what's going to happen? Okay, we have have I blown it up? Have I blown it up? Let me go back a minute. Oh, hang on. It's because I've broken the JSON, I think. There we go. YouTube. There we go. It was my fault. That's now changed to YouTube, and let's see if we can change that to something else just to get another test here. Let's do Discord. So comma and then bring that in. Refresh this page. That should change now to Discord, and it does. This is really, really good. I like it. I'm gonna just put some more tunes on. Bear with me just a second. That one. Yeah, so this is really good. You've done a really good work here. Let's see if I can break it. Let's not put anything selected. What happens? Does it take the first one? Yes, it does. Awesome. Okay, so that's not requiring it. That's good. Check boxes this time. Well, I'll tell you what happens if you put selected on both of them? Right, because you can only have one selected, so what happens if I put Twitch and Discord? I haven't looked at the code yet, so... Yes, this is... No, Blazar, this is for the January challenge. So we're going to refresh this one. So it goes to Discord. Okay, that's cool. So that to me suggests that it's looping over and it's getting the last one that is selected. So if I was to remove that one, it goes to Twitch. Sweet. Good. And can you see all of these submissions that have been happening here? So, okay. So one thing I would suggest is to only create the XML when the send button has been pressed rather than on a refresh. I'm assuming these are going to be, these new ones are going to be sort of blank. Yes. Okay, cool. Good. Okay, let's just take a look at the code, shall we? So let's start from index, wherever that's gone. There we go, index. Okay, so we're running a require once vendor form manager. So we're in vendor form manager here. Form manager is an instantiation of form manager, passing in the file. I like that because that means that we can change the file as well at future. Success submit is intercept submit. Okay, I'll have a look at that in just a second. So using Bootstrap, and we've also got the some custom styles here too. If success submit, so does that return a boolean? It returns an int. Okay, so if success submit, form submitted, there was an error processing. Okay, so that's the error bits and pieces. Fine. Please fill in your informations. Please fill in all the information. Okay, that's good. And then here is the piece of magic to get the HTML. Let's go and take a look at the form manager. We instantiate the form manager. This is good. Okay, so it can be get and it can be post. Get HTML. So we loop over the fields. Get the HTML for the field. Okay. And then generate fields. So we're working, this is like a factory method here. So we are getting the field type and we're instantiating the particular field that is based on the type here. Okay, let's open up one of these things. This is fields.php, hence the S. Okay, so you've got all of the fields in one place. That's cool. Okay. I was wondering, I was like, where are they? But they're here. Gosh, this is a lot of work. Cool. Be careful on your spaces. It's just when you're reading this at a glance, it can be sort of hard to work out because there's no spaces in between the operators. It's all good. I mean, notice, let's get rid of that one. Notice that there's that missing property up there. It looks like that's from type. Oh, that's missing the type declaration. That's all. But it's fine. That's the text area. That's the radio field. I like it. I do. So let's see if we can play with this a little bit. Let's say, for instance, I want to create another form field. Let's just create, let's say, I don't know, a text box. Let's grab that. We'll put it here. Okay, so I want to create a text box, and I want to call this email. And I want to say email. Email. I can't spell M. Since when does email have a unit? Email address. Required is true. Let's refresh the page. Oh yes, we do have the email in here. Awesome. So let's do. Let's fill this all out. test@test.com. Whoever has test.test.com is going to get a lot of emails. Let's hit send. Okay, this form is submitted, and it would be this one here. Yes, we do have the email, so that's gone through. Nice. Well done. Well done. That's really, really good. I need a cake. I think you deserve one as well. Well done, Tyrannid. Awesome. Thumbs up. Improvements, I would suggest obviously having checking that the form was submitted before actually creating the XML file. That would be one thing. And the other one is to make sure that you have spaces in between the operators. Should use... Not sure what you mean, Sniper Side. Oh, here? Do you mean? Oh, sorry, in the password. Yeah, I mean, this could be hashed, right? You could hash this. We'll get on to hashing in just a second, because that's part of the February challenge. Also, with the fields, this is personal preference really, but I would have an interface which requires get HTML just for belt and braces sake. Formatting, just check the formatting a little bit. It's a little bit tight. Again, personal preference. I'm really being nitpicky. Yes. Yes, Sniper Side. Yes, you could put in the asterisks. This is only testing. This isn't. I don't know what you mean, Sniper Side, to be honest. But yes, it looks good. Thank you very much for this. I'm going to eat some cake. And then I'm going to talk about the February challenge. Bear with me. I'm going to eat the blue one, the blue cake. Take a bite of it. Mmm. So, the February challenge. So I put a question out to the Discord server last night as to on the Pro User channel with a suggestion of one of the a code challenge that we could do, but a better one was returned by the users, and it was about encoding. It was about passwords, and so I gave it a bit of thought, and I thought how we can do it, how we can use it in a way that is different levels. So the first level, sort of level of difficulty, if you will, is to create a PHP command that encodes a password. Essentially, run a PHP file. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, thank you, Tunid. Gotcha. So yeah, run a PHP command that takes a string as an argument and then converts that into a hash using perhaps bcrypt. The hash is returned. So this command you could go as complicated as you want, to be honest, but I'm going to try and put down the high level stuff in this February challenge here. So it could be a website that you just refresh the page and it just comes back with an encoded hash of a random string, or it could be a command that you run. You give it an argument which is a password and it returns an encoded string. So PHP encode a password. So I'm gonna have an option here. This could either be a command or a web page that converts a string to a hash. Let me just bear with me just a second whilst I get the right terminology correct, because I want to make sure that this is correct. Bear with me just a second. Without trying to give too much away. Okay. So yes, it would return a password hash. I've said bcrypt, but let's just keep it as hash, because you might want to use something else. But kudos if you use bcrypt. This could either be a command or a web page that converts a string, a given string, to a hash. Okay. Level 2. Add the hashed password to a text file via the command. So to a text file, because it's an optional thing. The thing is, I think because level 1 is supposed to be the lowest level, I don't want to just say it has to be a command. If you want to just have a page, a PHP page that you refresh and then it just prints a hash to the page, by all means, go ahead. Or if you want to have a PHP command and you type in PHP and then, I won't tell you the command, but if you put in the argument as the string and then that returns as an output the hash string, that'd be fine. Okay, so add the hashed password to a text file. So basically every time you do that, every time you refresh the page, or if you run the command, I want you to create that hashed password to a new text file. Or actually not to a new Yeah, to a text file. Yeah, that's fine. So this is going to have, for every hashed password, create a new line in a text file. Oh, I should just say create a new line in a text file for every hashed password. That would probably make sense. Create a new line in a text file for every hashed password. Level 3. So, level 3, create a form that checks the password, the unhashed password. Remember, we're dealing with hashes and we're dealing with passwords. So, clear text passwords. So create a form that checks the submitted password against the list of hashed passwords. All right. Now I'm going to do something a bit cray-cray, a little bit nuts. Let's say we don't need to have PHP. Let's say that this could either be done, use JavaScript or PHP. Okay, now it opens it up. So it doesn't have to be a PHP thing. If you're a JavaScript dev, you need to also know how to do these things too. So use JavaScript or PHP to encode the passwords. I can't believe I used the word cray-cray. That is cray-cray. Okay, this could either be a command or a web page that converts a given string to a hashed string. Okay, so if you want to use bcrypt, please use bcrypt. Try, if you're using PHP, try and do that. Level 2, add the hashed password. Add the hashed password to a text file. Create a new line in a text file for every hashed password. Okay. Level 3, create a form that checks submitted passwords against the list of hashed passwords. So here I want you to loop over existing passwords, existing hashes, I should say, and check and compare passwords against stored hash. Essentially, if you think of the text file like a database, it's just a way that I can create, I mean, I'm sure at one point we will have database challenges. There's a little bit of setup involved for that. This just, I was even thinking of using SQLite, but, a text file will do. Loop over existing hashes and compare passwords against the stored. Now, this is going to teach a lot of things. First of all, it's going to teach you how to encode a string. So maybe we shouldn't even call it passwords. Maybe we should just call it encode a string. Encode a string. Okay. Use JavaScript or PHP to encode the strings. This could either be a command, blah, blah, blah. Yep, that's cool. Add the hash string to a text file. Create a new line in a text file for every hashed string created. For every created hash string. for every created hash string. Level 3, create a form that checks the submitted clear text strings against the list of hashed strings. Okay. Loop over existing hashes and compare clear text strings against the stored hashes. Does that make sense? Loop over the existing hashes and compare... No. And compare... That doesn't make sense. And compare hashed clear text string... sorry, I shouldn't do that. And compare submitted clear text string against the stored submitted string against hashed. So essentially what you need to do is you need to hash the string, store it in a text file, and then when you fill out your form, you need to hash that and compare that against the hashes, essentially. Sorry, King Melon Live. Yes, I did. This is the February challenge. The February, I'll go through it as I've just spewed it onto the page. So, in what I would like to do, 3 levels. The first level is to encode a string. For this, you could either use JavaScript or PHP. Not bothered. So this could either be a command that you run. So it could be an npm command that you run, or it could be a PHP command, or it could even be a web page that you refresh, and it will convert a given string. So if it's a web page, perhaps have it as a GET request, or a POST request. So you post a string to the page, it gets that, and then converts that into a hashed string. Okay. Store that hash string, this is level 2 now, store that hash string in a text file. For every new hashed string you generate, create another line in that text file, a new line. Level 3, create a form that checks the submitted clear text string, all right? Submitted, I'm just going to say submitted string rather than clear text, it's a bit obvious. Create a form that checks the submitted strings against the list of hashed strings. That doesn't sound right. Create a form that checks the submitted strings. Create a form that hashes... No. Create a form that checks submitted strings. That hashes... submitted strings and checks them that hashes submitted strings and verifies the stored verifies the encryption. Right. I think that's probably... I don't want to use the word password because then that gets people a little bit nanksy. Like, why are you storing them in text files? I don't want to do that. You know, I'm storing this in text files because it's making my life a little easier. You know, I don't want to have to set up databases for this, for every challenge. You know, could you imagine? That would be a bit ridiculous. So, create a form that that submits that getting my languages that verifies the encryption of a submitted string. Loop over the existing hashes and compare submitted and check the encryption and verify the encryption. Verify that the string exists in the stored list. So I would like an output. So output print the result and the decoded print the result. So, and also if strings match, or if strings have been decoded, then print out the decoded string. There we go, which is basically the string that you've submitted. Okay, so just in case this doesn't make sense, and if it doesn't, please let me know, but I will just go through it again. So level 1, encode a string. Okay, so you can either use JavaScript or PHP to encode the strings. The mechanism to do this could either be a command, so you could either run an npm command or a JavaScript command or a PHP command, taking an argument. So I will put that in. So taking an argument, which is the string, or if you wanted to, the easiest route is to just have a web page that when you refresh the page, it takes perhaps a posted variable or a get variable if you want to put it in a query string as the string, and then it encodes that, hashes that. That's level 1. Level 2, add the hashed string to a text file. For every new generated hash, create a new line in that text file. Level 3 is create a form that verifies the encryption of a submitted string. The idea is that you want to then have a form with a submit button, fill out that form or fill out that text box with the encrypted string, and then the response should either print the result, you know, it worked or it didn't work, as well as the decoded string in there as well. I might dress it up a little bit after this stream, but to make it sound a little bit better, I guess, because that sounds a little clunky, but essentially that's what I want. It's basically like a password verification, but I don't want to call it password verification because people are going to get frustrated the fact that it's being stored in clear text. So, yeah. Okay, that's it. Awesome. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for submitting the January challenge. And if you've got any questions on the February challenge, then please let me know. I will push this live after the stream. I will save that now. I'm going to grab a cup of tea because I want to have some more of my cake. And then we're going to get into some Gatsby fun. So bear with me just a second whilst I pop downstairs, grab a cup of tea.